Okay, Christina.
Here we go.
Cookies.
Hello to all the geek enthusiasts and nerd aficionados. Mest 5150 back with another MaliceCast TV talk. We are talking about Game of Thrones, which this was another epic episode. I have to say MVP of dialogue this week was Davos, in my opinion.
Indeed.
The sass was strong with Davos tonight.
Well, and in a close second came Braun for the first 5 minutes of the episode. So even any scene that Braun was in was pretty golden on his standpoint. Before we get into the scene by scene breakdown and look for people to join us in the chat room and let us know your thoughts on and opinions on the episode, I want to get let's introduce who's on the show with us. So we've got, as of right now, the two siblings. Aaron, welcome. You can say something. You don't have to just and Super Hoovian Freak.
What up? Oh, I said I wasn't going to do that anymore. What up?
Later on, we will have, as soon as he gets done with the episode, hopefully joining us, Big Papa Matt, to get the Epic Beard back with his thoughts and theories on the episode. As you guys in the chat room see things or have thoughts or opinions about what was going on in the episode, please chime off in the chat room. We will be watching it to get insights from you, because this is more than just three talking heads. There's a discussion going on in the live chat as well. But let me get your guys' opinions really quick before we get into scene by scene on it. Ranking of the episodes this season. Where do you put it at?
Yeah, go ahead.
No, you go.
As far as information delivered and plot setup, this was probably number one. But I still rank it behind last week's episode. So.
In epicness, I agree.
Yeah. But as far as moving the plot forward and just laying out like all the information, this one was definitely like what just happened.
What about you, Aaron?
Honestly, I think this topped last week's episode. The Dragonfire was great, and seeing Drogon in action was phenomenal. But as far as I'm concerned, the interaction between Jaime and Cersei and the interaction between Jon and Daenerys put me over the edge for ranking this as the best episode of the season so far. There was just so many bombs got dropped that I think it outweighed the Dragonfire for the week.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean that's the craziness about this episode was there was so much information flying and so much stuff going on that I thought the episode was almost over, and because it seemed like there just was a ton of stuff coming, and I go and I hit my clicker to see how much is left because I'm going to come and get ready for the live cast, and I'm like, holy crap, we're only 31 minutes into the episode.
I know.
I mean, it was amazing on the amount of information that was being given. So
non-stop.
This by far, I think, so far, season 1 and season 7 have, I think, been the best seasons in my opinion for Game of Thrones right now, because this is episode after episode after episode of being amazing, and that's what we were getting from season 1 when we first were getting turned on to this whole universe and this world. So, I each one has been more amazing. And welcome the Big Papa Matt to the channel. We haven't gotten super deep into the episode yet. We're just getting a couple of people's thoughts on stuff. So what do you think about the episode? Where do you rank it in the season?
It was pretty good. I'm not gonna put it at one of the best. I think I think it was the best cliffhanger we got all season so far. That's the fellowship that we deserved Tolkien to write about when we saw the Last of Us episode here. This is definitely my new favorite band of badassery, if you will. I'm looking forward to these guys.
Which one's going to be Boromir and have a ton of arrows shot into his chest?
Oh, that's going to be Jorah Mormont for sure. Mormont is catching arrows from everybody for sure. Yeah. He's not going to be making it back to Dany.
So let's get into well, we know now what Jorah was going to do when he got back. We've been asking that question for the last few weeks, but let's get into the step by step on the episode since we got everybody here. So we start off with last week's episode, Jaime just dropping into the water, not being able to swim, and Bronn saved him, pulls him out of the water. And I love Jaime's first response: "You could have killed me," as opposed to "Thank you."
That was such a Jaime response.
And just the way they're grateful people, the Lannisters. You know, Jaime comes and tells his sister the news, and she's like, "You expect me to bend the knee? What's happening?" Like, there's nothing grateful about that family.
Yeah, exactly. Every single time is something. I just want to name off one quote from that scene that was my favorite, and it came from Bronn, and it was, "Till I get what I'm owed. A dragon doesn't get to kill you. You don't get to kill you. Only I get to kill you."
Yes. Yep.
A lot of people were saying in talks last week that Bronn has finally become a true man. He's not just a mercenary. He left his gold behind to go save Jaime. Nope, he still has a stinking gold and his castle.
He only left the gold to save his own butt. That was the only reason he left the gold.
If I had a choice between dragon and gold, yeah, I'd pick neither and run too. So yeah, I can completely see where he's going with that.
Well, here's the thing though, and you're absolutely right, and he's said it a couple of times throughout the show, is a dead man collects no payment, and he knows better. You know, it's better to be alive than get your money another day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. So, and I love that he still hasn't really confirmed which side he's on. He still is that true mercenary that's kind of playing both.
And especially since he knows how much gold Cersei has right now, so he knows that they can pay him again.
Yeah.
Yep.
The best thing about Bronn is he tells you like it is. You know, when Jaime makes the line, "Man, I got to go back and I got to tell Cersei about this," and he's like, "Dude, you may as well just jump back in the river then. like it ain't gonna go well. You may as well just drown yourself right now." You know, that's honesty, which is what so few characters have. Is just that brutal honesty.
Absolutely. So we jump from that scene into Tyrion walking among the carnage. Do you think he was looking for Jaime's corpse?
Possibly.
Or just kind of looking at all the madness that
was just absorbing the chaos. I mean, you kind of saw it on his face, like look at, you know, like, is this really what I wanted to happen? Is this really what I thought was going to happen?
Yeah.
Well, I don't think he necessarily thought, what is this? Is this what I wanted to happen? He knew that it wasn't what he wanted to happen. That's not what, I mean, you saw last episode, or before Dany got in with the dragons, that wasn't where he wanted her to go. That wasn't the path that he wanted her to take. So, yeah, it was just a brutal reflection of how little sway he had in talking her out of that.
Yeah, the control he doesn't actually have. Which gets us into that kind of what you're talking about, where she goes with it. She gets the Lannister army of what's left of those people from that grouping in front of her, and gives them the option to bend the knee or die. And the two that stay standing, well, there's about 6 or 7 that stay standing, but the two main ones are the Tullys, the father and Dickon. No,
Tarlys, right?
Tarlys, yeah. Sorry. And Tyrion calls out the factor that, you know, he wasn't always loyal to Cersei, that it wasn't until he turned on Olenna that she's become loyal to Cersei, and he responds back to Tyrion that he's basically never been loyal to anybody, that he's killed his own father, gone elsewhere and stuff like that, and that he won't bend the knee, and he they both step up, saying they won't bend the knee. Tyrion tells him not to let it happen. He's the last of his house, which I think is hilarious because this means how little Sam is thought of. Because
because he's not the last of his house. Yeah,
No.
but I don't think that they know. They may not know Sam is alive at this point. You know.
Well, yeah, both not knowing if he's alive and knowing that he took the black.
Well, didn't Sam come
No,
across?
they know
his
he's
dad?
alive.
Yeah, they know he's alive.
They went and visited on his way down
Yeah.
to these to all the maesters down there.
He
The thing
told me he
is,
would
they've
never
never
eat that
considered
sword.
him a son. Once he
That's right,
sent him
I
off to
forgot
the
about
black, he
I-
never
I-
counted Sam as a part of that family ever again. Sam has always been dead to his father.
I wasn't speaking of the two Tarleys. I was talking about Tyrion and Daenerys, and well, specifically Tyrion. He probably wouldn't have the information to know that Sam either was off the wall or hadn't or was alive. So he might not know. Because I think if anybody in the Seven Kingdoms would be willing to give Samuel Tarly a chance, it would be Tyrion.
Yeah, but by them not bending the knee and getting Dracarys from Drogon, which
Yeah.
I thought they were gonna get fed to Drogon personally. I was like, feed him to the dragon.
I actually thought so too. I thought that they were gonna be eaten. I shouldn't have been surprised that they weren't, but I really thought they were going to be eaten.
I thought it would made more of a statement.
And welcome Heather to the chat channel, good friend of the show, and she's had a couple comments. Tyrion isn't drinking enough, so he doesn't know as much right now. But yeah, so they get burnt to a crisp. Everybody drops their knee after that. She reiterates that she's not here to put men in chains. She's not giving him a chance to just to go, oh yeah, just put me in a jail. They've got to submit fully, which didn't sit well with Tyrion at all. Because I think he realizes the enormity of what he's
Unleashed.
kind of with right now. Yeah. So and then we finally get the scene of Jaime going to Cersei to tell her what happened.
Yeah.
So
Everything that happened.
Everything.
yeah. So did it to anybody else look like this was starting to be the turning point where Jaime might start swaying away from Cersei?
Yeah, I thought that.
step?
I thought that until Cersei dropped her little bombshell on him.
Which we'll find out how real that is. It could just be something.
Yeah, exactly.
So, but I felt like when he was starting to say we can't win this war, this is talking about that the Dothraki are that
It was
they're
sport.
killing men wasn't war, it was sport. Yeah. And then the factor of the way that she reacts to when he's told what Elena said. I mean, would you guys think how she denied it?
Well, I mean, she wanted it to be Tyrion. There's no lie, and to find out that it wasn't, this whole crusade that she started, everything that happened is because she accused Tyrion and was so dead set against accusing it. So if you have to now pull that back, you have to go, well, did I cause all this? And that's not Cersei's style,
Yeah. So Jaime throws in the one fact: who would Elena rather have her granddaughter marry, Joffrey or Tommen?
Yeah. And it's a true story. True story.
And
That's
you saw
exactly why she did it.
Yeah. So I mean, did it look like to you guys at all that she was withdrawing her thoughts a little bit? I mean, you saw a slight No.
Cersei, that's not what she's doing. The fact that she refuses to listen in on this stuff, and Jaime has to sit there and go after her, she's not listening to facts anymore. She's acting as she wants to act on this.
Yeah, I agree. She's even if in her mind she did backstep a little bit and reverse her direction, she knows she's in too far. She knows that no matter what, even if she does have regrets about it, the only way out is going forward.
Yeah.
She's
in too far. Yeah,
like she keeps coming back to, either we submit and die or we fight and die. Those are her only two.
And she wants to fight and die.
You got to
go down swinging.
Matt.
No, it's 100% right. No, it's one of those things. Cersei knows that it's only a matter of time before she loses that throne, one way or the other. So why sit there and take it lying down, right? So she's going to let these events play. She's going to see how Dany reacts to the White Walker coming out, and it doesn't matter what's going on. She's going to be 100% all in. You know, she's put all her chips on the table. We know where she's at, and it's all about taking everybody down that she can with her.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah,
draw as much blood as possible.
Yeah.
And I want to know your guys' thoughts on the next scene, because we get Dany comes home. I just want to say one thing. It smells like Targaryen spirit.
Yeah.
So it's my thinking on the whole scene. But what are your guys' thoughts about Drogon and Jon?
Jon's got some brass ones. That was, I mean, he didn't back down. He could have backed down, and he didn't, and he let Drogon smell him, essentially, like Drogon was a dog, and trust, I guess. I mean,
it's the dumbest scene of the episode. There's no reason for that. Here's the thing: you don't know. There was zero reason for this. No, there was zero reason.
Jon has a connection with the dragon. He could be set up as a dragon rider. You don't know that. You don't know that.
No.
He's a Targaryen. He has a connection with them.
No. He knows the Targaryen in him.
No. It was awful. There was
and I think it swayed towards what's going on with the little flirtations that are coming from Dany now towards the end of the episode because of that scene.
True.
Useless scene. Throw it away.
It was epic.
Let's get back to hammering this thing out, man. It was useless. Like yes, it's cool, and he smells, dumb.
No,
absolutely dumb. Unless that dragon is rolling with him to the north, there's no reason for that scene.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Is it could be a setup to that happening. You don't know. Okay.
I do know, because that's what's going to happen.
I don't agree with you. So that's
no. And here's the thing: this is going to be the scene that everybody talks about. Like, oh, it's so cool.
Absolutely.
Oh, we think Jon is the Targaryen blood. Let's be real. Like, let's just stop that right now. Either pull it out, don't sit here and give us little nonsense teasers like that. Like that really, like that. There was nothing to that besides, here's a little crumble for you super fans. And why pander to us like that, right? We had such a good episode going on. We had such great momentum going back into the north and doing that kind of stuff. It felt more like a speed bump than actually something that's going to be useful to this show.
I think that.
Well, we got a good comment from Heather in the chat room. Well, if your kids like your boyfriend, he's a keeper. She said the dragons are like children.
Was also to set up the fact that Jorah came essentially right after that, didn't he?
Right after that, Jorah shows up as she's talking to him about the.
So it set them all on the cliff to give them the walk up of Jorah coming up.
Which I felt like that return was more throwaway than anything, because it was just like, oh, it was a sappy moment of let's hug, and my wife was like, "You're not gonna get any, Jorah," and I'm like, just being accepted by her is enough for Jorah right now. That's
exactly, yeah. So
he's in hog heaven right now that she just accepted him back with open arms and didn't slap him or anything like that.
So dragon.
What's that?
She didn't feed him to a dragon. He's probably ecstatic about that.
Yeah, she didn't yell Dracarys as soon as he showed up. So, but yeah, we get Jorah's return. Then we get Bran taking over a multitude of ravens to look at the White Walker army, which the Night King clearly knows when Bran's watching him.
Power is growing.
So a lot of quick. If we're gonna go with Big Papa Matt's thinking on things, a lot of quick throwaway scenes, because it was a cool scene to watch, but it didn't have to.
it just reiterated what we already know. They're coming, and Bran needs to tell people. I mean, that's all that scene was for. It set up the him sending the ravens out to everyone, but we didn't need that. I mean, he could have done that at any time. They know the White Walkers are coming.
But see, here's the thing: is that's why we needed this, because this is going to be a conflict that happens this season. The Jon and the Targaryen blood and all that will not happen till next season. We're not going to get into any of it until next season. So
it may be the cliffhanger. It may be the cliffhanger at the end. That's all.
We're gonna have a conflict with White Walkers. We're gonna have a conflict with the dead. Like that's where I wanted to spend the time in this episode, and not 3.5 minutes of watching, trash mouth Drogon's nasty teeth. Get that dragon some braces, Daenerys. I thought you liked your kids. I mean, seriously, like it was such a weird scene. I didn't enjoy it. I loved the stuff with the dead. I love seeing the ravens. I love seeing Bran take over that stuff. I think that's going to be a killer, amazing conflict that we're going to get here, as we saw towards the end of the episode. But
this is why we do the talks, people, because our opinions collide and clash. And
y'all are driving me crazy tonight. Aaron, what did you think of that episode? What did you think of that scene, dude?
I think it was absolutely necessary, because this is the first time that we've seen the vastness of the army that the dead are walking with.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So,
I mean, there was that.
They're talking about tens of thousands of people in the north. They're talking about tens of thousands of people in the south, and 40,000 Dothraki riders. I mean, you need to see that huge amount of dead that are just
marching
toward them, in order for it to have a real impact. So what they're facing, and so you have that dread coming up in the later weeks. So it was definitely necessary.
Absolutely, because that's a huge. Yeah, absolutely. You're 100% right, because it's a threat now. That's such a huge threat. And the thing is, we don't have the 40,000 Dothraki riders. We don't have that Southern army yet. What we have is a couple thousand Northmen and whatever's at the watch right now. And now that threat of that army is so much more terrifying and demonstrative of what's going on, where we're just like, now there's no hope with this fight, with what's up there. And as Jon kept saying, not enough men. We don't have enough for this. So it's going to be, I think those scenes were just huge to see that looming threat of that impending doom that the White Walkers are bringing down on everybody.
Indeed.
Worthy thoughts. But I think we get into an even more important scene when we jump back to Sam for the first time in this episode. And he finally lets the Maesters have it, just speaks his mind. Like full on.
And it did nothing.
Because they bring up about the crippled boy that can see three-eyed ravens and stuff like that. And
they were mocking him, it's like, this is garbage. And he gives them, well, look at what that cripple did. He survived where these people couldn't, and these people couldn't, and these people couldn't. So maybe we should listen to this little cripple. And it did nothing. I mean, he laid it out there, and
I believe the term they prefer is handicap, not crippled. All right.
But the phrasing
you don't need to be. How about you not be so demeaning on little Bran Stark? All right. I got to be so mean to the little kid.
But I think
the exact quote was more rather likely than cripple boys talking to magic.
Hey, whoa. We're not talking about quotes. All right. We're not talking about. I'm letting y'all know what he prefers to be called. All right.
So
he called himself a cripple 2 episodes ago.
He calls himself the three-eyed raven. All right.
No, he gave the cat's paw blade to
Arya. Don't get into semantics. Move it on, Sarah. Finish your thought.
But they want more proof. They're just like any other, sit on their butts person. They want absolute 100% proof before they're willing to go out there and do what they can do, which is essentially band everyone together and send them up to go fight.
But they don't. Sam's giving them exactly how much proof they need.
I know.
He does tell them that everyone trusts and respect him. Yeah, that's one thing.
Shout out to Marco in the chat room. He totally agrees. Marco. Throwaway episode, just another setup. The thing was, is I will say on that, the kind of a setup episode, I think this is the first one we've had in this season as far as a setup episode, because that's what we got a lot of. But I'm okay with that, considering there's 7-8 episodes of this thing. Yeah,
And that's the thing is,
that's what we're gonna
even
get.
though this was a setup episode, it was still not as slow of a setup episode as setup episodes from previous seasons have been.
100%, 100%. Yeah.
So, yeah, no, I does it feel to you guys like the one Maester is still kind of on Sam's side, trying to kind of push him to do things, but is afraid to speak up to the others because they kind of look up to him more than anything? Well,
that's the Maester's job, is to not be reactionary like Sam is being right now. You know, he knows Sam is right, but the Maester's job is to not have reactions like that and to not just jump at the gun. Their job is to think about things and think of the possibilities, and that's what they're having to do. And unfortunately, when you're that type of a leader for something like that, you have to take those steps, and you're not able to react. And the thing is he loves having Sam around because he has someone that can do that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Say what's on his mind more than he can. His position is still precarious, even though he's the Grand Maester, even though everyone looks up to him. If he starts going on about things that are at the fringe of belief for all the other people in the room, he's going to find himself ousted really fast.
100%. Yeah, absolutely. We don't need a game of Maesters. All right. We just,
we already have one game going on. We don't need to. So yeah.
Although he didn't
it'd be a very slow, boring game though, too.
You think this one's boring?
That is one of the offshoot series that they're talking about. One of the 4 spin-offs, Game of Maesters.
Oh my god!
There you go. I'm in.
It will go nowhere.
Taking a black.
The Maesters haven't told Sam that his father and brother have died, so that was a little drop.
Yeah, it just confirms what we saw earlier in the episode.
Yeah,
but,
confirms what we saw.
But people still
once again,
I'm not saying it's
who Sam is.
I'm just not saying that's a big deal. I'm just saying that was a little drop that we got, that he doesn't know that his parents were just killed.
And he might not ever.
Yeah.
No, he might not ever.
Well, that's the thing. His mom is still alive. Anybody else was in their castle is still alive. It's his dad and brother are gone, so
it just depends on where it goes. If he goes home, we'll find out real quick. But he might not, because he might go somewhere else.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So we jump from there to Varys and Tyrion talking, and Tyrion is trying to justify what Dany did. Like, at first you can tell how rightly upset he is with it, but then it's just, she had to. It's just the way things are, and
Well, he was also justifying that it wasn't his choice; it was her choice. He didn't make it for her. I told her what I thought she should do. She didn't listen, so I'm her hand, not her head.
Yep.
Yeah.
But he's just realizing how little control he has. And Varys makes the key point that he needs to make her listen. He needs to find a way.
Mm-hmm. That's what Varys is letting him know.
I think he had her listening until he got outsmarted by everything. I mean, what do you guys think?
Yeah. She was definitely following his advice up until, they lost the... I don't blame him so much for the fleet, but the getting outsmarted at Casterly Rock, that sucked. That sucked.
Yeah, and a big blow to him. That's something that he's not going to be able to outrun. It's going to overshadow him until he comes up with another big victory, or maybe even a series of big victories. So yeah, he's going to have that hanging over his head for a while.
Yeah. I mean, the first victory she has is the first one she doesn't listen to him about, except for, as Big Papa Matt pointed out last week, was cutting off the road.
She listened to him, though. That's exactly what he told her to do, and that's was the greatest thing she did,
as opposed to the way he was saying to do it.
No, I don't. And the thing is, all Tyrion said was, "Don't bring the dragons to the cities." He didn't say anything about going and knocking out a Lannister army with the dragons, and that's what she went and did. And I think she's still listening to Tyrion, and I think the discussion between him and Varys, the big thing was there is she is on a path that right now she has that fork in the road where she can either take off and continue the Targaryen bloodline and be crazy and be that person everybody fears like that, or she can kind of continue what she's been doing so well, is the breakers of chains and all those different things. And what's gotten her this far is Tyrion, and what he needs to understand. And I think what that was more than anything was very saying, don't stop on the path you're on. You're already doing what's right at the moment, and you're doing the right things for her, and don't let that fail you right now, because you're doing the right things. You're making the right calls for her, because she does listen to him. She has been. The biggest thing I think for that is he has to understand. He just kind of needs to, I don't want to be like, oh, you just got to believe in yourself, little guy. But it's one of those things where he needs to stay stalwart in those actions that he's giving Daenerys right now.
Yeah. Oh. And then we do get, I like the little thing, little fun anecdote there with Varys holding on to the sealed scroll. And his quote of, it's a sealed scroll, because Tyrion asked him, did you open it? And he's like, it's a sealed scroll for the King of the North. And he's like, what's it say? And he's like, Varys, nothing good. I just love that they know each other well enough that it's just, you already know.
Like, please, come on. Please.
Which now Jon knows that his whole family is alive, except for, of course, Ned and stuff, and the people that are confirmed dead. But he knows that Arya is alive. He knows that Bran is alive, and he's not there to have that reunion with them. And duty comes before family for Jon at this point in time. You can tell, because he's still focusing on what needs to be done, as opposed to, I need to get home and see my family and wish these people, but.
But in this scene, you can see that Dany's still listening to Tyrion, because he's the one that comes up with the plan. We need to infiltrate, and we need to see Jaime, because if anyone's going to be able to convince Cersei, it's Jaime.
Yeah. So, and that's what this whole scene is. John discussed the fact that he needs to go home, which once again I brought out before. I don't think he's ever been a prisoner. I know she said, I haven't said you can leave yet, but he's always had the right.
Yeah.
He just sets his foot down on it this time. He doesn't bow down from that. He's not going to bend the knee, but he's not going to back away now, because time is of essence now at this point. And they make up a plan that they got to get a White Walker. So, bringing up Big Papa Matt's point, how much did this feel like the start of the Fellowship starting to get together?
Yes.
Because everybody just standing up like, I'll go.
Oh, it's awesome. It was great, man. I was ready for them to like smack down a gold ring and let's get this thing going. Elrond the elf just shows up out of nowhere. Gandalf comes in the back corner. The dead guy on the big ghost moose from a couple seasons back shows up. It's just, I'm ready. I'm ready to go. I
wanted to hear the phrase of, you'll have my axe.
Yes, absolutely. And instead of an axe, we got the hammer. We got Godric's hammer, dude. That is
amazing hammer.
Oh, so good. So good. Well, and here's the real thing is, obviously we had that scene, all that, but man, Littlefinger playing the game, handling all the little Stark girls and bending them around and doing everything he wants, man. I can't believe he played Arya like that.
Yeah,
I can, because she wants.
I absolutely can.
Yeah, I mean, she knows Littlefinger's dirty, but she thinks that Sansa's out to take over. I mean, she knows that Sansa and Jon never really got along, and so she fully believes that Sansa's out to take Jon's power, and is using Littlefinger to do it. So I can believe it.
Yeah, we have great discussions going on with, speaking of that, which we'll get into that scene a little deeper, but we have a great discussion going on in the chat room about that, where Sam's going to end up going, and that a lot of people think that he's going to end up towards Winterfell and see that Sansa's just not.
Yeah,
she's kind of screwing things up.
Well, we haven't gotten there yet, so we'll go into that.
Yeah, we haven't gotten there. Yeah.
Deeper.
So we get the line that Davos can smuggle you in, but he's not going to fight. So, but he can get him into King's Landing. And I love the line from that last scene in Trust a Stranger, because it's our best chance, because Jon basically just throws it at Dany that he trusted her, he put his life on the line, he knew what he was walking into, and she needs to do the same now. that
Mhm.
she can't control everything.
Yeah.
But that's what I want to get into when we're talking about the sisters. So we have talked about how Sansa's running things and stuff in the chat room right now. Arya walks in on a potential mutiny and does not like the way
Yeah.
that Sansa
handles
So-
it. And they both have good points. They both have really good points because, I mean, Arya right now is a stab first, ask questions later, right? She's done playing politics. She doesn't get it. But Sansa does get it. Right now she's got the mindset of you're going to get more flies with honey instead of, and she's trying to appease everyone because let's say Jon doesn't come back. You honestly have no idea if Jon's going to come back or not. So if Jon, for whatever reason, doesn't come back, you need to keep them allied with you. You can't drive off your potential army just because they're talking smack on someone that's that's your family. Do you get it?
Yeah.
Well, I do. But at the same time, I have to back Arya because even though,
but like I said, but Arya has good points as well. They both had good points. There's got to be a middle ground between those two.
I don't think that they both have good. I mean, yeah, Sansa's making the points that she needs to make it sound like she's not after what she's after. But Arya cuts her down, telling her that she's setting everything up so that she can take control.
Exactly.
And
whether you're intending to or not, you are thinking about it, and whether that's your end goal or not, if the opportunity is there, she is going to take it.
I don't have to stop that that's a definite goal for her because I don't think she thinks that Jon's going to survive this war.
Mm-mm.
Well, here's I can see that as well. But my thing is where she's messing all this up though, more than anything, is she thinks she's letting everybody get their word in and talk. What Jon did was he united the North. Sansa's allowing the North to tear itself apart now. She needs to keep them united and keep them under one name and one banner. And what she's allowing them to do is all sit there and have all these different opinions. And this is what we do. And this is what we do. Nah, man, you're part of the North now. Like you named the King of the North and you will follow the King of the North. I don't care if you're over here and followed me or anything like that. You are a part of the North now. Y'all came in, y'all bent the knee. It doesn't matter who you are or where you're from. And that's what Sansa, that's where, Arya did the right job in calling her out.
Mm-hmm.
Start cutting heads. Like they all bent the knee. This is what their duty is. This is what they promised to do. And now they're not doing it. So start knocking people out.
I want to know where the younger Mormont is.
I was just going to say that. I'm like, who would have done that? Little Mormont would have done that.
Laid that big dude out.
Yeah, she
Well,
would.
when I first saw that scene, that's because she's always sitting in a big chair. That's why I thought it was her sitting in that chair, and everybody's complaining to her. I was like, oh no, it's Sansa. They're saying that. So, but yeah, she's playing this game of if I listen to you when it comes to having to kind of clash. Remember, I was the one that listened to you and was on your side. Didn't like.
Yeah, she's building loyalty to herself and not the North.
Yes, exactly.
Which is what we've discussed in the past. Is Arya lies with Jon. That's the connection. And
Always.
her and Sansa are not. They played the sister game. Sansa more than Arya on the meeting last week. Sansa played that. I'm so glad you're home and stuff, but you can see every single glare when she looks at Arya. She is seeing competition. She's not not completely happy with this. We had on the Game of Thrones Reddit page, I asked people's opinions about what Sansa's doing if she's playing a game, and there was this huge debate about it. That's like, leave Sansa alone. She's just happy and love and happy that her sister's home finally. And I'm like, no, this is not. So
I do think that she was happy that Arya wasn't dead.
Yes. On one hand, yes.
What I think she had a problem with was when she saw what Arya had become, she knew that she was in trouble. Because she knew that there was somebody now in the North, because Jon was gone. And so the buffer between her and power was gone. And now somebody else had come home and she had that buffer again.
Yeah.
She now has someone who will stop her from doing naughty things. And Arya just proved that.
Yeah. No, that's truth.
We did get some good comments from the chat room once again from Marco. Marco brought up that Sansa's learned all of what she's doing from King's Landing. So once again, it is that whole factor of diplomatic type of things that she's learned. The doing behind back, how to rule type of thing. But Big Papa Matt responded to that very, very well. That's the issue. She's learned everything from Southerners. She's in the North where those games don't play well.
Yeah, not even just Southerners, the worst type of Southerner.
Absolutely.
Lannister. And the worst Lannister.
100%.
Knows from the worst of the worst when it comes to being in the North.
I mean, if she was following at least maybe Tyrion's example, maybe it wouldn't be so crazy. But she's following Cersei's lead, and that's like he said, it's the worst person that you could ever want to emulate in this game.
Well, no, but here's the thing, though. It is in the South and in King's Landing, it's the best person to play. Cersei's dominating right now. She's handling business on top of business, and she's doing it with all odds stacked against her. But in the North, where the land is different and the people are different and the rule is different, because winter is coming, those games don't play up there, and they never have, and that's why there's always been that King of the North or the Warden of the North, and there always has to have been that Stark at Winterfell to keep those lands and tribes together, because you don't run it the same way, and that's where she's messing up a little bit. And she's playing the
if you don't have a bridge in between the North and the South, then you have two warring tribes.
Absolutely,
yeah, exactly. So moving on to the next scene.
And now all those Northerners are acting like King's Landing, where they're all just sitting there screaming and bitching at each other about nonsense.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And
good times.
We get Tyrion and Davos getting back to King's Landing. Once again, great lines from Tyrion to Davos. What if someone takes the vote? With Davos, then we're effed. Best hurry. So, as I said before, MVP of the show for dialogue was Davos this episode.
Yeah.
And then we see Bronn and Jaime going to train.
Train
underneath everything where the skeletons of the dragons are and stuff.
Yeah.
I
love that.
And I love the today Jaime telling Bronn, today might be the day I'll kill you by accident.
He's like, no. I was waiting for that line from Return of the King. It will not be this day. Today will not be this day, or whatever that line is from Aragorn.
It is not today.
We get what shows that we still don't know which side Bronn is truly 100% on, if it's just his pocketbook or one of the two brothers, because he's down there to set up the meeting between Tyrion and Jaime.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and Jaime's face when Tyrion walks out of the shadows was the
whole
best
time
face ever. Best face ever.
You don't talk about a stank face, man. That guy had it all. That entire 3 minutes. It was beautiful.
What are your guys'? What are your guys' thoughts on? Is Tyrion still proving his worth with Jaime?
Well, he got Jaime to listen.
No, Tyrion just knows Jaime's the only one in that castle that's going to listen to any word of reason.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, Jaime's got to get swayed at some point. He's the only. Yeah. He still has a good heart. He's just being.
Tyrion wants Jaime's respect. You could see that when he was trying to tell him, "Look, Dad was going to execute me. I did what I had to do to survive. He knew I was innocent. He only wanted me dead because I was a dwarf and a bastard. Not a bastard, but I was a dwarf, or I guess a bastard. Yeah, because dwarves are bastards in their father's eyes. And so you could see him like, look, I did what I had to do. Don't hate me for it.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah.
At the same time, he did lose a little bit of credibility with Jaime, because as much as I think Jaime would hate to admit it, he did love his father. And even though even though he loves Tyrion too, in as much as he can, without looking like a fool, I guess, or looking like a sympathizer to his father and his sister, I think he does hate him a little bit for that. And that is creating that divide that you saw at the beginning of it and kind of during the whole thing. But I think the fact that his father's gone and Tyrion is here is overriding that. So yeah, I think that the Tyrion doesn't necessarily have to build any more credibility or build any more respect from Jaime, but it's going to take a little bit extra this time, just because it's the first time he's seen him since the father died.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we get what's, I think, the most epicness of the episode, and that's Davos coming across Gendry. The Baratheon bastard, who we haven't seen in a long time.
I guess we know where he's been,
yeah.
though. People were wondering.
Davos literally said the words that everyone has been thinking since he left King's Landing. I thought you were still rowing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought he was at sea too, Davos. Really?
I think everyone did.
Yeah. Well, the second, and that's my wife was like, "Is it another son of Davos's?" When he's like, "I thought I'd find it." I was like, "No, it's." And the second he looks up, I'm like, "It's the bastard." So, I was happy to see it, and we see some freaking fighting prowess from Gendry with that hammer.
I love that whole scene though. It's like you can tell Davos has this whole pitch to get Gendry to come on his side, and Gendry's just like, "Nope, let's go. Here we go. I'm waiting for this thing." And he's like, but Davos is like, "But it could be this," and he's like, "Nope, we're good. Let's go. Off to war."
He's just sick of sitting around.
Yeah.
Not,
That was great.
he's finally ready to just jump in the game and let's, show what king blood he has in him, basically.
Nah, man, this right here was them being like, all right, we don't have time for this to be like a big old long scene. Let's just move it on. And the thing is Gendry's always been the guy that he was ready to go and move forward and help out Arya and move out of the, he's always been a man of action. He wasn't a guy that wanted to sit there and play games ever. And I love that they kept true to that character. And that's what's really nice about this, and kind of seeing him back in the show, is his character is still his character, and he's not some different guy. He's just been on there pounding the forge, man. This is where Beacon, man, him and I like watching that Forge and Fire. This was my episode right here. I got to see somebody beating on some metal. It was good times.
No, it was good.
The best part about this, though, is now they have a smithy to forge their dragon glass weapons.
Absolutely. I didn't even think about that. That's,
Yeah.
Well, that was the line. Oh, go ahead.
That was exactly that's what I thought his, I thought that's what his contribution was going to be.
Yeah, absolutely.
I did not see him pairing up with the other bastard and going.
Yeah, well, right. And that's, as of right now, they're going to go find that White Walker. Gendry's going to be like, I can't fight these guys. I don't have a sword. I don't have a weapon like that. But what I can do is I can make your weapons to kill these guys.
Yeah, I thought that's what he was going to do.
Maybe the reason they're not doing that is because the dragon glass isn't up there yet. I mean, because they made it a point to say, like, well, he doesn't have a need for a smith, And I'm like, but my brain said, yes, he does. Yes, he does. But, maybe they have other smiths that can forge it up there. I don't know.
Well, I'm sure they do. I highly doubt that. Well, at least as far as NPCs versus player characters goes, I doubt they're going to find one as good as him. So yeah, that's, like I said, I thought that was going to be his main focus for the character, but turns out I was wrong. And to be honest, I have never been more glad to be wrong.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Be entertaining.
Any man that wants to walk with a big war mace to fight some White Walkers, I'm in. I'm down. But no, I think that what'll happen is once he sees that army and he realizes what they're up against, he'll be the guy to kind of take charge and lead that forge to make that dragon glass, make those weapons. Once they get back on the other side, because I know that whole party, not everybody's coming back from that party. It ain't gonna happen. But we'll see who comes back, and Gendry will be one of them. We'll have a whole bastard army ready to go with him and Jon leading the way.
And we have a great chat going on in the chat room right now about kind of Littlefinger's play in with the Stark siblings and what this is. Marco's bringing up, this is not about a race for the king anymore. It's about the Stark siblings. If they stay together or be a lone wolf. I mean,
Well, I think that's what Littlefinger is trying to do. He knows he can't take Arya because of Brienne, number one, and number two, because Arya's awesome on her own. And he's not going to be able to, if he does try and he makes a play for her and he succeeds and Sansa knows it's him, or he fails and Sansa finds out it's him, he's
screwed.
He's screwed squared from Arya's retribution, Brienne's retribution, and so screwed cubed, I guess. Yeah, he's gonna have attacks coming from so many different directions.
Screwed it cubed. We're hashtagging that, by the way. We gotta hashtag screwed cubed. Because that's phenomenal.
He's gonna have so many problems. So he has to play ace against ace, basically. So he's definitely making a play to turn them against each other, however he can.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So we get big bomb drop. Jaime talks to Cersei to tell her about him talking to Tyrion. It looks more and more like Jaime's finally starting to sway towards, kind of logic. But Cersei knows the right card to play and says she's gonna have a baby and it's his, and just
like what?
And seriously, how smooth was it that the Maester just happened to be there when he came in?
I know.
Because seriously, who else is going to be taking care of a pregnant woman in King's Landing other than that Maester?
Well, we were talking about the factor, like she's saying, well, you need to punish Bronn because Bronn stabbed you in the back basically by going and meeting with Tyrion and setting this up and stuff like that. And me and my wife were talking about the factor that if she kills Bronn or does something to Bronn, that's going to be the turning point for Jaime. That's when he's going to. But then she just pulls this freaking rabbit out of a hat to get him back.
Ace in the hole, man. That was her ace in the hole.
Honestly, I have a feeling that number one, it's a lie.
That's what I think too. And
number two, that lie is going to be what gets Jaime to kill her in the end.
Well, what would be her purpose of lying to him about it, though?
To get his unwavering, that to make sure that there's no questions when she goes to war. He's going to have her back, and right now she has questions because.
But why would she have those questions? And here, that's my only thing is those. But what has led that to the moment of where would she question that from him right now? He's done nothing but show loyalty to her. He's done nothing but show love to her since all these things. Why would she have to question that?
But he's also shown love to other people, which is what
he saved Tyrion.
He doesn't understand.
He spared Tyrion from her wrath.
He spared Olenna, the woman who killed their only son, or their favorite son, I guess you could say.
But she didn't know about that, and
we get
until she announced it.
We get a good point from Heather in the chat, and it's Cersei was warning Jaime that traitors get punished. Hashtag foreshadowing. So almost like what she's saying about Bronn, but she's indicating it towards Jaime.
Because her last words to him when she's hugging him are "never betray me again."
Absolutely.
And that implies, number one, that he betrayed her in some way, shape, or form.
Okay.
Once. And number two,
Tyrion.
he already has shown favorability towards other people, which is something that Cersei doesn't understand. She has favorability towards herself and towards Jaime most of the time.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
More than anything, it's herself. And if he doesn't show that sort of favorability because that's all she knows. She doesn't have anything outside of that in her purview. So yeah, if he doesn't show that sort of unwavering loyalty to her, he's a traitor.
All I gotta say, Jaime, is Cersei be crazy. Cersei be crazy.
Yep.
Watch out for the lady right there.
The Mad Queen.
Yeah, no doubt. He's a hashtag screwed cubed.
Yeah.
Another good comment in chat room. Jaime is reality, and it doesn't fit into Cersei's twisted mind.
Nope.
Exactly.
But then we get what's been the scene of the day, according to the chat room, because everybody was quoting it like crazy in the chat room, and it's Gendry being introduced to Jon.
I love it.
That doesn't even try and do what Davos's plan is, just comes out and says, "I'm Gendry Baratheon, the bastard,"
walking up there and he's like, all right, you're Clovis. You're going to tell everyone you're Clovis. Go with it. Go. This is Clovis. Hi, I'm Gendry, the king's bastard, late son of, Robert Baratheon and UB, and it's like, he was supposed to keep that to himself. And
I love, Devil's response if he was meant to keep that to himself. Just like the guy doesn't listen to me. So
no one listened to me. Lived to be a rival.
And we get the you're a lot leaner, you're a lot shorter. Throwback to Ned and Robert.
You got older. Well, you got fatter. These things happen.
While watching the episode, it was brought to my attention that it was like, well, watch, these two are going to become best friends now because it just.
Yeah.
So, we get that Gendry is going to go fight. He's going to go. No matter how much. One of my favorite lines: "Better to be a coward for a minute than dead for the rest of your life." From Davos, which once again just doesn't listen to Davos.
No, he goes, and then Davos's line at the end, he's like, "All right, nobody mind me. All I've done here is live to a ripe old age."
Yeah,
sure.
So, I mean, how fast is Davos going to get taken out? I don't want him to get taken out fast, but I think the fact that he's just the one that's like, well, screw this and don't fight this and stuff. He's going to be one of the last ones to live coming back. I just, because we're going to get people taken out in that. And when they get over there, it's going to happen.
Yeah. I don't know if it can be Davos though. Because like he said, he's a survivor. The only way that I see Davos dying is if he specifically does it to save someone else's life. Yeah. I think he's going
I think
a sacrifice.
I think Davos has to come back to at least get the revenge for the daughter of
Dennis.
So the fact that the red lady pointed to the fact that she has to come back to this land to get killed, it's got to be Davos that's going to take her out. So because he swore that he would kill her next time he saw her.
It would be poetic, and it would be very satisfying because as much as the good she's done is far, far outshadowed by the terrible things that she's done. So yeah, it would definitely be a satisfying death to see Davos kill her. At the same time, there's more that she can do while she's alive. So I'm hoping that she'll have some sort of role to play before he gets to her. To get some sort of, because she knows she messed up. She knows that she made mistakes. She even pointed to it in that conversation with Varys when she said that she was going to have to come back here to die. So I think that she has atonement that she has to do. She has to atone for her past misdeeds, and I hope that she gets to do that. And I hope she does it in a very, very fiery manner.
Yeah. And so they find
they doesn't know how else to do it, man.
Yeah.
Well, she knows how to make freaking smoke monsters. So I know. Does not turn out like the final season of Lost. And
no, hopefully,
something fiery. I want fire. You hear me, Melisandre? I want fire.
Yeah.
All I can think of is that line from Hamlet, "Something wicked this way comes." Now it's something fiery this way comes.
It had better. Hashtag. Come on.
Hashtag something fiery this way comes. And so then we jump from there. They're leaving. More little indications given to what everybody's thinking that Jon's going to be Dany's king and stuff like that. Dany gives the eyes to Jon, tells her that she's growing fond of Jon's being just
grown used to him. I think.
Yeah, I've grown used to him while batting her eyes.
I love you.
It's the most flirtatious you've ever seen Dany be in this entire series.
I like the way you touch my dragon. Is what she should.
Oh. That's dirty though.
So,
with the
dragon was the way you touched my dragon.
I like the way you tickled my dragon.
I will say though that I know that Dany's a shorter girl, but I didn't just realize just the angle that they shot that with Jorah looking and then Dany and then Tyrion walking behind. she is super short. Because
Well,
I didn't realize Tyrion comes up so far on her.
So is Kit Harington, though. So they didn't.
I know.
It's tiny as
I
well.
know.
They
Yeah.
didn't really ask him.
So he is, and they I know they do angles to shoot him a little taller.
Yeah.
But I think just the way it angled, I was just like, is that the angle, or is she really that short? Because Tyrion looked like he came up over halfway on her.
And to your point of I want fire, Aaron, Marco brings out, don't worry, Melisandre will come back with more red priests, LOL. So that will bring your fire. So if she comes out back with a bunch more.
Good.
As long as she comes back with Lady Stark as a red priest.
God, they said they're not bringing her into the show, though, Lady Stoneheart.
I know. Maybe that was all the ploy. How cool would it be?
It would be amazing.
Their minds, they could change their minds.
There are too many chiefs in this already.
Yeah, there's already too much crazy.
So we get into Sam and Gilly. And she's reading the book. Question. Is she talking about John's parents, the secret marriage?
Yes. How did Sam not pick up on that name? Yes. He hears he's frustrated. I get it. So he's not listening. And he hears the things about the steps, but he doesn't hear the name Rhaegar and annulment and secret marriage in Dorne. He just skips over all of that. Like, I just wanted to punch him in the face. Like, dude.
It goes on his rant.
And then he goes on his rant. And I'm like, you missed the crucial parts of what she was babbling about. Because she was babbling. We're not going to lie. She had no idea what she was going on about.
Well, and that's what everybody always brings up, is that even if he is a Targaryen, he's a bastard. No, there's a secret marriage. He's not a bastard. He is a sworn Targaryen. There was a marriage. So he is.
But the marriage wasn't between Starks and Targaryens. So why would he know? So that's the thing. Like, there's no inkling there as why he should have picked up on that or anything. Like, that was all hints and teases at us, not something that Sam should have picked up on.
Once again, did it make you mad, Big Papa mad?
Yeah, it was kind of dumb. I'm not gonna lie, it was. I mean, once again, it's one of those like fan things. Like, don't forget, everybody, we're remembering you, and we're not letting this theory go. We'll still be there and get to it in a roundabout weird way. But
he goes and takes the rightful scrolls, and he needs to take for the information stuff. But that's one of the books that they've been reading. So did they take the book, that specific book, with them too? Because then it does point to being important.
It's the book that Gilly's been reading, not Sam.
Yes. So did Gilly take that book with him? Because then it would make it important.
No, he did give the book that he was reading to the toddler.
Yeah, and then he gave it to little Sam.
I'm pretty sure he passed it up the one that Gilly was reading on to her.
Those must be like the beginner books with pictures for Gilly, so she can learn. You know, that's sort of thing. Here you go, Gilly. This one's filled with small words for you. I'm gonna give little Sam the bigger book.
Yeah. Says Gilly. Heather says Gilly will remind him.
And Marco, absolutely. Sam has no clue. So you're absolutely right, Marco.
Yeah. So, and that's also Marco. Sam's only focus is White Walkers, just like John.
It is.
John's not focusing on anything else.
One-minded. But I disagree that he has no clue. Everyone knows who Rhaegar is.
Sam and John.
Everyone knows the name Rhaegar. You can't live in this world right now and not know the name Rhaegar.
But no one he doesn't know that Rhaegar had an affair with a Stark.
No, that may not have been common knowledge. But to hear the name Rhaegar and annulment, I would have been like, okay, give me that book, you know?
But if it was in that book, that means it was public knowledge that there was an annulment in there. So
that they're aware of.
The thing is everybody knows that he slighted the Lannisters by breaking off the marriage with Cersei.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. So, but yeah, Sam and John are literally twin brothers from another mother. They have the same way of thinking, everything's, and it looks like we lost Aaron. So
maybe back.
We jump onto the scene that everybody was talking about. Littlefinger going around, getting his info, doing what Littlefinger does, and Arya watching. To which we learn that he gets a message that, are you sure nobody else? This is the only one of it. Da, 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 da. Arya goes and finds it, which is it the actual message, or did he plant one?
What did it say? I couldn't read all of it. I don't know if we were meant to read all of it. But
I was trying to read. I just got a couple lines.
It was it was about Joffrey going to overthrow the throne. What I think it was that original message from where they told Sansa to write that note to the kingdoms,
they forced her
for them kneeling,
right?
Because it was signed by Sansa. It was talking about killing Ned and him dying from his injuries, and because Joffrey knew that they were trying to get his throne from them. So that's what that was about, and that's what it was from.
Okay. So, but it was the legit phone, the note that she found. Then it wasn't. He didn't plant one because he knew that she was gonna. Because you could clearly see he knew that she was
absolutely
following, because he comes out of the shadows as soon as she comes back from out of the room. So
absolutely.
Well, I think it was the legit note because he is trying to play them against each other. I think, though, I agree with Heather earlier. She said Arya knows that he's watching her, and I agree with that. I think that she knows he's watching her, and she's letting him think that he's in control when he's really not. So they're kind of both playing against each other.
I think it's
that's it's about Cersei's making Sansa declare Ned as the traitor about the dagger.
And she has no idea that Cersei forced Sansa to write that note. I mean, she did not write that because she wanted to, you know.
Yeah.
No, and Heather makes a good point too. Is this could be a note that Arya knew that there was those notes sent out by Sansa, but this could have been something that Littlefinger had forged and changed facts on it, done something like that as well. So the thing is there were big portions of that note cut off. I paused a couple times and was looking around on it and checking it out, but no, you're absolutely right. I mean, it could be something that's been created, and it could be that same note as well.
Yeah. So, and we'll find out. I agree. I think there's something that's been altered in it because Littlefinger's too smart to just like, here's all the evidence. But
it is going to play into her upset. I mean, she's already upset with Sansa, and it's going to play into that. And she's going to explode on Sansa. I think not explode, but she is going to bring it up. She was already
exploding a little bit when she threw back at her, my lady. You know, she was already kind of giving that little bit of huff to Sansa to show that she's not a pushover. She's not, she is a lady.
I do agree though that Heather thinks the note that was actually given to him was about the dagger, cat's paw. And he may not have even left it in the room. He may have kept the scroll on him and planted that one for Arya to find.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm wondering too. But we get the last scene, and one of the best lines from the beard that is more epic than the beard that is on our show. And I give
it up to Giantsbane, man. He's the man.
I love the which one do you have to convince? The one with dragons or the one who F's her brother? This is such a great line,
man. When he asked about the big woman, the big lady. That was my favorite. I was like, yeah, bring on some Brienne. Man.
So, but yeah, and then we get that Clegane's there with his group of people that they want to go on the other side of the wall, and we get the official Game of Thrones full-on Fellowship of the Ring together to go grab us a White Walker, the one, the precious, the one White Walker.
Well, they're gonna find a ton. Now it's just staying alive to bring that one back.
I just can't wait for them to like run into Uncle Benjen when he's just waiting for him.
What I'm waiting for.
Yeah, they're gonna run into Benjen to get themselves a White Walker. Benjen will die as they're trying to capture a White Walker.
Let's ask that. So they're gonna walk into this army to try and grab one White Walker. Is Benjen the one that's gonna actually give him a chance to save him to get him away from the army? Is that when he's gonna show up?
I can hope.
Benjen, one of the things, Benjen will be dying. I think he'll come back into this little fellowship here, help them out, help them get away, help them steal, and he'll die sacrificing or get out of there with them, whatever it is.
And we get a nice little point from Marco. He going back to the dagger. He thinks the dagger is Rhaegar's originally in terms of original ownership, which would be
very possible. Yeah, very possible.
It's possible. But how would that be significant? What would be the point of keeping that a secret?
Because it's in family heirloom, right? That's the big piece there.
Huh.
The family heirloom that I remember reading.
Could it help bring the Lightbringer?
It's
possible.
It's a
It
possibility.
could. That blade could be the Lightbringer. If
That could be a stepping stone to finding out exactly
Oh.
what it is.
So, what was brought up by Heather in the trailer for next week? Benjen is in the preview. He's on a horse behind the Night King.
Was he really? Oh, dude, I totally missed that.
So I have to go back and check that.
Okay, yeah, I'll have to look at that too because that's what I was.
Big Papa has a look on his face like I find disbelief in that.
I was really afraid that he was. I was hoping that he went full seer school and evaded all of them.
No, and yeah, I mean, he could be dead, and that that's part of that too.
Yeah,
I mean, there could be 100 different things, and the thing is Benjen could be the White Walker that they bring back. It's all part of that.
That's
So
what I was gonna say. I hope that if he's dead, he's the one that they pull out of that, because that would be him coming full circle, which I love to see that type of stuff.
Yep.
Yeah. So that was our episode for this week. Thank you everybody for joining us on the chat. Did you guys have any last tidbits about this week or thoughts about next week that you wanted to get in really quick?
I'm hoping that.
Oh, the dagger is definitely Valyrian steel.
Yes,
that was brought up last week. Where Arya was like, these things aren't lying around a dime a dozen. Why would he just give this to you? So I think that's going to be Arya's, weapon against the White Walkers
For sure.
Yeah, I remember reading somewhere that the cat's paw dagger got somehow ended up in Stark hands before Arya. And I remember reading that it was Ned who had it. Now, if that's true, I'm hoping that it is. If that's true, I would imagine that he got it from when he found Lyanna's body.
yeah, he could have got it from and that could have been his promise, right? That could have been the seal of the promise to keep him safe and keep him secret.
Yeah. So,
is John the Precious in this scenario? Keep it secret.
Cat's paw dagger is the precious. Yeah. So I'm
many Lord of Rings jokes in this episode.
I know that dagger has a bigger part to play than just being transferred from Stark to Stark to Stark.
Right.
So yeah, I'm hoping that, like I said, I hope it's a stepping stone to something greater.
Yeah.
Totally.
So, okay. Well, if you guys have any other thoughts about today's episode or future episodes and stuff like that, keep the conversation going with us. You can actually tweet to us or follow us on Twitter and respond to stuff about our thoughts and everything like that. You can either follow the main channel at Malice Corp on Twitter, or you can even follow the cast itself at MaliceCast on Twitter. Where can we follow you, AA Ron?
You can follow me at Das Newport Kid on Twitter.
Okay. And Super Hoovian Freak.
Yeah, follow me on Twitter at Super Hoovian Nut. It's good stuff. Good stuff.
Yeah. She has some interesting takes on stuff. Big Papa Matt. There's a whole bunch of places we can follow you, isn't there?
Yeah, man. You guys follow me at Big Papa Matt on the website, on Twitter. You can also follow my other podcast where we actually talked a lot about more of these theories. So if you guys are into hearing some of the Game of Thrones theories that we've been throwing out on the Nerd Mosh Pit, check us out. You can find us on the website. You can also follow us on Twitter on Nerd Mosh Pit, as well as just email us all your thoughts, your gamer tags, anything like that as well. nerdmoshpit@gmail.com. But hit me also up on PlayStation Network if you guys want to at Son of Maku, SONOFMAKU. That's where I'm also out on Snapchat too. You can watch me take pictures of food and other things that I get myself into on a weekly basis of drunk adventures.
And if you guys catch this cast later, please come back next Sunday, 8:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. That's West Coast time. And join us because there is so much more going on in the chat channel. I could probably sit here for the hour that it takes us to talk about this and just read the chat channel because they have so much great stuff and insights going on in there. I appreciate Heather joining us. I appreciate Marco joining us today. And they still got great things going on to this second right now about thoughts and theories. And yeah, you have to be here for the chat. That alone is worth being here.
Also, come see us for Preacher tomorrow. Also, like and subscribe. Beat you to it.
Yes. I was going to get there. So if you want to follow me, you can follow me on Twitter at Mess5150 or Instagram at on Twitter at Mest_Malice Corp or on Instagram at Mess5150. I'll usually send out on Instagram when we're going live and stuff as well as doing it on Twitter. If you guys want to see last week's episode, make sure to click up there. You won't see it right now, but for those watching later, not live, if you click up there, there's going to be a little link that'll pop up. If you want to see something that is relegated to you based off of your viewings and stuff, you can click on the video. It's going to pop up there. And as Big Papa Matt said, please like and subscribe. And if you want to know how to subscribe and you can't find it, there's going to be a logo that'll pop up right in that corner there. And click on that. That'll get you subscribing. Tell your friends and family about this. We are working towards getting these things on iTunes as well as podcast.com. So if you want to listen to them on audio, please do. Please share with your friends and family. Come back and watch us. We're going to get more video content out to you. We'll see you guys tomorrow night for Preacher. That's going to be 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And you guys keep nerding on.